In this modern world, the dependence on electricity is so much that it has become a part of our life. The ever-increasing use of electric power for domestic, commercial and industrial purposes necessitate to provide bulk electric power economically. This is achieved with the help of suitable power-producing units, known as power plants or electric-powered generating stations. A generating station essentially employs a prime mover coupled to an alternator for production of eclectic power. The prime mover, for example, steam turbine, water turbine, etc., converts energy from some other form into mechanical energy. The alternator converts mechanical energy of the prime mover into electrical energy. The electrical energy produced by the generating station is transmitted and then distributed with the help of conductors to various consumers. In this video we will go to learn classification of power station. Depending upon the form of energy converted into electrical energy, the generating stations are classified as under 1. Steam power stations, thermal station. 2. Hydroelectric power stations. 3. Diesel power stations. 4. Nuclear power stations. 5. Gas turbine power stations. If you like this video, please subscribe our channel Learning Engineering. Let's go. We will describe one by one power station and their advantages and disadvantages. Steam power station, thermal station. A generating station which converts heat energy of coal combustion into electrical energy is known as a steam power station. A steam power station basically works on the Rankine cycle. Steam is produced in the boiler by utilizing the heat of coal combustion. The steam is then expanded in prime mover, for example, steam turbine, and is condensed in a condenser to be fed into the boiler again. The steam turbine drives the alternator which converts mechanical energy of the turbine into electrical energy. This type of power station is suitable where coal and water are available in abundance and a large amount of electric power is to be generated. Advantages of steam power stations. The fuel, for example, coal, used is quite cheap. Less initial cost as compared to other generating stations. It can be installed at any place irrespective of the existence of coal. The coal can be transported to the site of the plant by rail or road. It requires less space as compared to the hydroelectric power station. The cost of generation is lesser than that of a diesel station. Disadvantages of steam power stations. It pollutes the atmosphere due to the production of large amount of smoke and fumes. It is costlier in running cost as compared to hydroelectric plant. Hydroelectric power station. A generating station which utilizes the potential energy of water at a high level for the generating of electrical energy is known as a hydroelectric power station. Hydroelectric power stations are generally located in hilly areas where dams can be built conveniently and large water reservoirs can be obtained. In a hydroelectric power station, water head is created by constructing a decameter across a river or lake. From the dam, water the hydraulic energy, for example, product of head and flow of water, into mechanical energy at the turbine shaft. The turbine drives the alternator which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. Hydroelectric power stations are becoming very popular because the reserves of fuels, for example, coal and oil, are depleting day by day. They have the added importance for flood control, storage of water for irrigation and water for drinking purposes. Advantages of hydroelectric power stations. It requires no fuel as water is used for the generation of electrical energy. It is quite neat and clean as no smoke or ash is produced. It requires very small running charges because water is the source of energy which is available free of cost. It is comparatively simple in construction and requires less maintenance. It does not require a long starting time like a steam power station. In fact, such plans be put into service instantly. It is robust and has a longer life. Such plants serve many purposes. In addition to the generation of electrical energy, they also help in irrigation and controlling floods. Although such plants require the attention of highly skilled persons at the time of construction, yet for operation, a few experienced persons may do the job well. Disadvantages of hydroelectric power stations. It involves high capital cost due to construction of dam. There is uncertainty about the availability of hung amount of water due to dependence on weather conditions. Skilled and experienced hands are required to build the plant. It requires high cost of transmission lines as the plant is located in hilly areas which are quite away from the consumers. Diesel power station. A generating station in which diesel engine is used as the prime mover for the generation of electrical energy is known as diesel power station. In a diesel power station, diesel engine is used as the prime mover. The diesel burns inside the engine and the products of this combustion act as a working fluid to produce mechanical energy. The diesel engine drives the alternator which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. As the generation cost is considerable due to high price of diesel, therefore, such power stations are only used to produce small power. Although steam power stations and hydroelectric plants are invariably used to generate bulk power at cheaper cost, yet diesel power stations are finding favor at places where demand of power is less, sufficient quantity of coal and water is not available and the transportation facilities are inadequate. These plants are also used as standby sets for continuity of supply to important points such as hospitals, radio stations, cinema houses and telephone exchanges. Advantages of diesel power station. The design and layout of the plant are quite simple. It occupies less space as the number and size of the auxiliaries is small. It can be located at any place. It can be started quickly and can pick up load in a short time. There are no standby losses. It requires less quantity of water for cooling. The overall cost is much less than that of steam power station of the same capacity. The thermal efficiency of the plant is higher than of a steam power station. It requires less operating staff. Disadvantages of diesel power station. The plant has high running charges as the fuel, for example, diesel used is costly. The plant does not work satisfactorily under overload conditions for a longer period. The plant can only generate small power. The maintenance charges are generally high. Nuclear power station. A generating station in which nuclear energy is converted into electrical energy is known as a nuclear power station. In nuclear power station, heavy elements such as uranium or thorium are subjected to nuclear fission in a special known as a rotor. The heat energy thus released is utilized in raising steam at high temperature and pressure. The steam runs the steam turbine which converts steam energy into mechanical energy. The turbine drives the alternator which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. The most important feature of a nuclear station is huge amount of electrical energy can be produced from a relatively small amount of nuclear fuel as compared to other conventional types of power stations. It has been found that complete fission of 1 kilogram of uranium can produce as much energy as can be produced by the burning of 4,500 tons of high-grade coal. Although the recovery of principal nuclear fuels, for example, uranium and thorium, is difficult and expensive, yet the total energy content of the estimated world reserves of these fuels are considerably higher than those of conventional fuels, viz., coal and gas. At present, energy crisis is gripping us and, therefore, nuclear energy can be successfully employed for producing low-cost electrical energy on a large scale to meet the growing commercial and industrial demands. Advantages of nuclear power station. The amount of fuel required is quite small. Therefore, there is a considerable saving in the cost of fuel transportation. A nuclear power plant requires less space as compared to any other type of the same size. It has low running charges as a small amount of fuel is used for producing bulk electrical energy. This type of plant is very economical for producing bulk electric power. It can be located near coal mines. Therefore, the cost of primary distribution is reduced. There are large deposits of nuclear fuels available all over the world. Therefore, such plants can ensure continued supply of electrical energy for thousands of years. It ensures reliability of operation. Disadvantages of nuclear power station. The fuel used is expensive and is difficult to recover. The capital cost on a nuclear plant is very high as compared to other types of plants. The erection and commissioning of the plant requires greater technical know-how. The fission byproducts are generally radioactive and may cause a dangerous amount of radioactive pollution. Gas turbine power plant. A generating station which employs gas turbine as the prime mover for the generation of electrical energy is known as a gas turbine power plant. In a gas turbine power plant, air is used as the working fluid. The air is compressed by the compressor and is led to the combustion chamber where heat is added to air, thus raising its temperature. Heat is added to the compressed air either by turbine fuel in the chamber or by the use of air heaters. The hot and high-pressure air from the combustion chamber is then passed to the gas turbine where it expands and does the mechanical work. The gas turbine drives the alternator which converts mechanical energy into electrical energy. It may be mentioned here that compressor, gas turbine and the alternator are mounted on the same shaft so that a part of mechanical power of the turbine can be utilized for hydroelectric stations, as a starting plant for driving auxiliaries in power plants etc. Advantages of gas turbine power plant. It is simple in design as compared to steam power station since no boilers and their auxiliaries are required. It is much smaller in size as compared to steam power station of the same capacity. This is expected since gas turbine power plant does not require boiler, feed water arrangement etc. The initial and operating costs are much lower than that of equivalent steam power station. It requires comparatively less water as no condenser is used. The maintenance charges are quite small. Gas turbines are much simpler in construction and operation than steam turbines. It can be started quickly from cold conditions. There are no standby losses. However, in a steam power station, these losses occur because boiler is kept in operation even when the steam turbine is supplying no load. Disadvantages of gas turbine power plant. There is a problem for starting the unit. It is because before starting the turbine, the compressor has to be operated for which power is required from some external source. However, once the unit starts, the external power is not needed as the turbine itself supplies the necessary power to the compressor. Since a greater part of power developed by the turbine is used in driving the compressor, the net output is low. The overall efficiency of such plants is low, about 20%, because the exhaust gases from the turbine contain sufficient heat. The temperature of combustion chamber is quite high, 3000 degrees Fahrenheit, so that its life is comparatively reduced. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget like, share and comment. More update please is subscribe our channel. Learn